On an average day, United States Customs and Border Protection agents all over the country process over 1 million people trying to enter the country. Among these large amounts of people, hundreds will be apprehended every day for further inspection, and the majority of them will be found to have illegal contraband. Millions of dollars worth of drugs, exotic animals, and illicit currency or products are found by Customs and Border agents every day. This is happening not only in the United States, but all over the world too. Some of these people are part of elaborate smuggling schemes, and some seem none the wiser to the laws that they are breaking. Keep watching to find out 10 of the craziest things ever found in customs. Interact with us. Subscribe and hit the notification button to be notified when we upload more content. Don't forget to leave a like and comment below. Also, feel free to suggest any type of videos you would like to see on this channel. Thanks! Number 1. A seal's head. In 2004, a man flying to Denver from Logan International Airport in Boston was stopped when airport security agents found the severed head of a harbor seal in his luggage. When questioned by the security agents, the man said that he had found the seal's head on Revere Beach in Massachusetts and claimed that his reason for taking the seal's head is that he was a biology professor and wanted to use the seal's head for educational purposes. Not only was the man considered to be transporting an illegal wildlife product, but federal wildlife laws in the United States prohibit people from disrupting or removing body parts of a dead mammal from their natural habitat. These laws exist in order to maintain local ecosystems as they are naturally, to not disrupt the cycle of life that exists in these ecosystems, and to not shock ecosystems by introducing foreign organisms and processes to them. Surprisingly, the man was aware of the thousands of dollars in fines he could face for this offense, but decided to take the risk anyway. Number 2. A tiger cub. In 2018, 3 men had their duffel bag confiscated at the border of the United States and Mexico in Brownsville, Texas, when it was discovered by border agents that the duffel bag contained an unconscious tiger cub. The male cub, who was only 3 or 4 months old, was given over to Brownsville's Gladys Porter Zoo by U.S. Customs and Border Protection. Tigers, and especially tiger cubs, are unfortunately often smuggled as a part of the worldwide illegal animal trade that generates between $7 billion and $23 billion every year. Luckily, the Border Patrol agents were able to find this cub and bring it to a zoo that specializes in caring for endangered animals. There were several other instances of people attempting to smuggle tigers into the United States at the border of Texas and California in the years leading up to this particular instance. Number 3. 420 pounds of cow brains. Customs officials confiscated 420 pounds of frozen cow brains at Cairo's International Airport in 2012. 2 Sudanese travelers had attempted to smuggle the cow brains in order to sell them to restaurants in Egypt. Cow brains and livers are considered a delicacy in Egypt, and there are entire restaurants dedicated to dishes including them. Oftentimes, cow brains are deep-fried and served with pita bread and a spicy red sauce. A pound of cow brain can be bought in Sudan for less than $1, and it sells in Egypt for up to 6 times as much money. The 2 travelers clearly planned to make well over $1,000 in profits from their cow brains. The brains were confiscated because officials could not confirm that the food had been safely stored in order for it to be consumed. At the time that the 420 pounds of cow brains were confiscated, it was the 4th time that week that officials in Cairo had found people attempting to smuggle cow brains. Officials said that the brains would be burned. Number 4. A stolen Egyptian sarcophagus. In 2008, United States Customs officials in Miami, Florida, stopped to examine an Egyptian sarcophagus for agricultural concerns. However, upon questioning the Spanish gallery that was trying to import the sarcophagus, U.S. Customs and Border Protection and ICE found that it could not be proven that the gallery had legally obtained the sarcophagus from Egypt. It is believed that the coffin was stolen from Egypt in 1970 and brought to Spain. ICE determined that the sarcophagus needed to be returned to Egypt as per the country's cultural patrimony laws and seized the sarcophagus as it was considered imported stolen property. The coffin was confiscated in 2008, but it took 2 years of international investigation before the sarcophagus was returned to Egypt. On April 7, 2010, the artifact was placed in a museum in Cairo. The sarcophagus is empty but covered with religious symbols painted on in bright colors. It is over 3,000 years old and is believed to have belonged to a person named Imzi. Number 5. 757 live tarantulas. Officers from the Philippine Bureau of Customs at a mail exchange center near Manila Airport were going through routine checks when they found 757 live tarantulas inside a package shipped from Poland. The baby spiders were sealed in plastic vials punctured with holes for air, while the larger tarantulas were put in clear plastic containers. The containers of tarantulas were then shipped inside gift wrap boxes that also contained oatmeal and cookies. Tarantulas and cookies sound like a weird snack combination. The shipment of spiders was valued at 310,000 pesos, or about $5,900. When the recipient of the package came to collect it from the mail center, he was arrested. The man receiving the package is considered a participant in illegal wildlife trading. The Philippines has laws that prohibit the trading and possession of tarantulas without the proper permits. Many other animals are attempted to be illegally brought into the Philippines, including geckos and other reptiles. Number 6. A human skull. In 2013, 2 women were stopped by TSA agents at Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport when fragments of a human skull were found in their carry-on luggage. The human skull fragments were found along with human teeth inside some pieces of pottery. The women were returning from a trip to Cuba and said that they had bought the pottery at a religious shop and that the pottery was supposed to ward off evil spirits. It was not immediately obvious if the women were even aware that the pottery contained human remains. Oddly enough, this is not the first time that human bones have been found in customs at the same airport. In 2006, a woman tried to bring a skull from Haiti through Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport with the same excuse of using it to ward off evil spirits. Human remains are typically only allowed to be brought through United States Customs for the purposes of burial, entombment, or cremation. Number 7. Cocaine stuffed breast implants. On February 24, 2016, a Colombian woman was stopped by customs agents at Frankfurt Airport in Germany after they noticed suspiciously fresh operation scars below the woman's breast during a search. The woman admitted to the customs agents that she was smuggling drugs. She went to a local hospital where doctors removed her hastily inserted implants to reveal that they contained 1,000 grams of cocaine each. That amount of cocaine had a market value of 200,000 euros or 220,000 US dollars. Cocaine is seen as a status symbol and elite drug in Europe, and it is the third most trafficked drug in Europe after marijuana flower and marijuana resin. This particular cocaine was bound for Spain before it was apprehended. Drug smugglers that carry drugs in their bodies, such as this, are known as drug mules. While some of them get into smuggling voluntarily, others are coerced or forced into it. Officials in Frankfurt said that this is the first time they had seen this particular tactic used by drug mules, but over the years leading up to this event, they had seen increasingly extreme tactics used for drug smuggling. Number 8. 2 live pigeons. In 2009, a 23-year-old man returning to Sydney, Australia after a trip to the Middle East was stopped for a more in-depth search after custom agents found 2 eggs in a vitamin container in his luggage. Upon further inspection, the customs officials found 2 live pigeons on the man's body. The pigeons were wrapped in paper and plastic with just their heads left exposed and then strapped to the man's calves and covered with his opaque tights. The customs officials also found seeds hidden in his money belt and an eggplant in his luggage, which he had not submitted to inspection by customs, as you must do with all food items. Australia is known for its strict regulations on importation of wildlife, plants, and food. As an isolated island, Australia has a very unique environment to maintain. The man could have faced charges of wildlife smuggling, which have a maximum penalty of 10 years in prison and a fine of about $7,430 in Australia. Number 9. 50 bags of weed inside a foosball table. On January 13, 2016, a 55-year-old Canadian woman named Miranda Ferran was headed across the border to Niagara Falls, New York to supposedly buy some Powerball lottery tickets for that night's $1.6 billion Powerball jackpot. Upon noticing some inconsistencies in her story, the United States Customs and Border Protection officials at the Lewiston-Queenston Bridge border crossing subjected her to a second and more in-depth search. During this search, canine agents alerted the officers to the foosball table that was in her vehicle. The border officers took apart the foosball table and found it was stuffed with 50 vacuum-sealed bags of weed, which weighed 50 to 55 pounds and altogether were worth up to $60,000. The United States Customs and Border Protection officials handed the drug smuggler over to the New York State Police. Number 10. A roasted pig head. On October 11, 2018, customs agents at Hatfield-Jackson International Airport in Atlanta, Georgia discovered an entire roasted pig's head in a traveler's luggage. The agents were originally alerted to check the luggage by Hardy, a 6-year-old rescue beagle that worked with the customs agents. The airport has an entire team of beagles that work in customs to sniff out anything suspicious such as this. Beagles are scent hounds that have been traditionally used to track animals for hunting, so they have a highly astute and sophisticated sense of smell, especially when it comes to detecting animals. The traveler, who was from Ecuador, had a 2-pound pig head confiscated and destroyed. The United States does not allow pork to be brought into the country through customs in order to prevent the introduction and spread of diseases such as classical swine fever, foot and mouth disease, and swine vesicular disease. Surprisingly, this was actually not the first time that a beagle had found a roast pig at Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport. One of their beagles found an entire roast pig in luggage from Peru back in 2016. Can you believe these insane things people have tried to bring through customs? In recent years, smugglers have gone to increasingly extreme lengths to try and get their contraband through customs. Which of these items found in customs was the craziest to you? Join the conversation and let us know in the comments below.